Hello, Biomedical Science fans on YouTube, which seems a very strange sentence to say, one I was never anticipating saying. I'm just going to move my camera a bit so that I'm a bit off-center and you can see me over my name. There we go. It's very exciting to be with all 7 of you. There are 7 of you watching. There'll be more once we actually start. We haven't started properly. We're just gossiping, trying to choose team names, warning Quang how much I'm going to pick on him, that sort of thing. So do let us know in the YouTube chat where you are, what you're drinking, and your biomedical sciences qualifications, if you have any. I'm intrigued to know how clever our audience is. And if you do leave a comment, I can pull it over and we can see it on the screen, you see, like that. Woo! And so, like, if you say something rude to one of our contestants mid-answer, I can pull it over and we'll try and put them off a bit, especially Quang. So, Quang friends, I know you love putting Quang off. Just put in there. Right, Quang's formers, robots in disguise, and I'll pull it over and I'll put it there. How are you all, people on screen?
Right, yeah.
Because you really warmed up and ready for this, aren't you?
I think it's because you addressed the whole room as a whole there, Steve.
I'll just go to you, Jones. Jones, how's your holiday?
I mean, it's great. Yeah. For the audience members, I'm coming to you from a Haven caravan site because I'm the sort of person who agrees to things without looking at dates first. It's the last day of my trip in Cornwall, and I am very much, as this poster suggests, enjoying the summer. So
yes, that's incredible. I didn't realise you'd gone full caravan site.
Yeah.
I mean, you're Welsh. This is luxury for you, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. And it's only rained one day this week, so it's not really a holiday.
You don't feel at home, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's such a
bit of a slapstick energy coming from the bottom there.
If Ella does die, by the way, well, you're all witnesses out there on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh look, James, who appears to be nothing but a haircut and a goatee, which is a terrible thing to make yourself look like. Gloucestershire, Shandy, and a bachelor's in animation, which is why presumably you can only afford to live in Gloucestershire and have a shandy. True facts. Should have got yourself a biomedical sciences qualification, shouldn't he, Quang? You hawk biomedical sciences qualifications for a living. What kinds of incomes could people be earning with a biomedical sciences qualification?
Oh, they can earn. I think the standard rate's about 2 shillings an hour, and then every now and then you might have a bonus of some bread to take home. Yeah, it's loads of money in biomedical science.
If you've dreamed of being Bob
watching,
Cratchit
I'm sorry.
in A Christmas Carol, why not get a career in it's International World Life Biomedical Sciences Week Day. Like, you got to be more on it, Quang. You got to sell these careers.
Oh shit!
I'll do the downbeat.
Right,
self-hatred.
biomedical science is amazing. Millions. I had a bath of money this morning, and it was fantastic.
A little uncomfortable.
Oh shit! I forgot I was biomedical.
No, it was
science.
Quang. He just had a bath in all because the new £50 note came out today. They sent Quang all the old ones, so he had a bath in used 50s with no Turing on them. Welcome to Steve Does Current Affairs. Did you know the new £50 note with Alan Turing on came out today? You do now.
Ooh.
Wow. Well, that's STEM related, so you're really on topic.
Yeah, and it's Pride Month. It's that related.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe they've relegated Turing to the 50. Who's ever using
the note? Just criminals.
Biomedical scientists.
Just to teach criminals a bit more about, computer history, computer science history.
Yeah, you're like, if you've got 50s, you're either a cash-in-hand loan shark lender type or a criminal. It's the only people that use 50s.
Yeah.
Charity shops won't take 50s, and that's the only place I shop. So they're no good to me.
Most places won't take 50s. I had a whole bunch of friends come over for our wedding and somehow got conned in the American exchange to only having £50 notes. Nowhere takes £50 notes.
Might as well carry gold bullion.
I did get to see
who's
one
on the gold bullion.
It's me.
Is it Britannia? And is Britannia an LGBT hero?
I think maybe it's Boudica. Boudica's the real queer icon of our times. Well, not our times, of ancient times, really.
Hello out there, proper listeners. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking this doesn't seem very structured, it's because we haven't started yet. We'll start in a second. Just we like to, because we know that lots of the people who are performing, you look at them, right? Some of them work in universities, and that means that they're not used to doing anything until at least 5 past the hour. They can't, if you tell them 8 o'clock, their brain doesn't switch on till 5 past 8. Unless they work for the University of the Arts London, where I once ran a training session that was due to start at 5. I started at 5:12. At 5:15, 3 people came in and told me off for starting early. 15 minutes, University. That's the Elephant and Castle campus, though. So south of the river, rules all over the place. Non-Londoners, just to explain, south of the river is Hades. I don't know. It's a different place. You don't go there. Nottingham people, think north of the river.
Kip, you're married to a police officer. Are there any laws south of the river in London?
No.
Oh, good to know.
It's the law of the jungle. And house prices.
By jungle,
no
you mean
cheaper.
jungle is massive rather than the jungle?
Yeah, they don't go down there. They leave you to fend for yourself.
They just love mid-90s music
Yeah.
made up entirely of one drum break. Right, I think we should do a proper gig. So I'm going to go off into the wings, and I'm going to let the theatre staff here at the Your House Theatre introduce me properly to the stage. And I'll reappear and we'll do a proper show. So wherever you are, I just want you to imagine you've been given the 1-minute warning for the beginning of this very serious professional theatre show. And get your drinks ready. Good evening, lovely people of the wherever you are, Your House. Would you please clap cheer? Welcome to the stage, your host, Steve Cross. Hello! One of the things you have to know about me is my voice sounds exactly like professional theatre staff that announce things at a theatre. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Never Explained Biomedical Sciences special. My name is Steve Cross. I'll be your host for an hour of science-themed silliness, where we'll be picking through the brains of 4 of the top minds in the biomedical science world, while the Welsh person tries to count to about 70. I'm going to go and meet that Welsh person now. She's our official scorekeeper. She's Jones the Maths. Jones, how's life in Cornwall?
It's very good. I got sunburned on the first day down here, which is an absolute rookie mistake. And today I'm going to try and count in Cornish, which I'm assuming is exactly the same as Welsh.
Exactly the same as Welsh. Yeah. Did you just get on the wrong train from Paddington? Why are you in Cornwall?
Just on holiday. I actually came from Wales. I came from one Celtic nation. So just have a buffer zone of another Celtic nation on the way to London.
Did you boat over? Did you go all the way round?
Yeah, we got the now defunct ferry from Swansea to Cornwall.
It's now defunct. You broke
Yeah,
it.
they just put it back on just for us for just one journey.
Oh, that's nice. And that's the power that coming on this show can give you. So there's hope for everybody here. So this is the way the show's going to work. We've got 2 incredible teams. I'm going to ask them a series of science themes. What happened there was, in the middle of saying it, I realized I'd forgot to open the email, which has all the questions in. Now I remember. I'm going to ask them a series of science-themed questions, and they're going to give us hilarious answers. And every time they say something that makes me laugh, or would make me laugh, if I had what I believe you humans call feelings, then you will hear, playing for time, because he forgot to set this up as well, you will hear this noise. Yeah, Jones heard it. We're okay. And that means they've scored a point. But we need to find out who these incredible teams are. So we're going to go first to the more experienced players. We're going to start with the most experienced player here today, Kip Heath. Kip, hello. Hello. Can you tell all of our wonderful guests who you are and what your biomedical science credentials are?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kip Heath, and I'm a biomedical scientist, which is somewhat appropriate for Biomedical Science Day. I'm also a little bit of a fraud because after 14 years, 4 degrees, 2 caffeine overdoses, I was so desperate to get out of the lab that I applied for 5 jobs and now work them all simultaneously. I do have some comedy credentials as well. So I saw Steve perform last year and joined his Talent Factory mentorship scheme, and now I just won't go away, like the herpes virus.
Or, children. It's a more positive example of something that you get one on you and then it just doesn't bugger off ever. or in my case, you get 2 on you. And I noticed your team name was a clever combining of your name Kip with Kwang's name Kwang to give the team name Kwang. Kwang, who are you? What are your science and biomedical science and comedy credentials?
Hello, so I'm Kwang. I work in medical outreach, so it basically means I spend all my time getting people to do important jobs that I'm not qualified for. Also, sorry.
Wait, are you not qualified? I thought you had biomedical science qualifications.
I have a degree. That's
In what?
somewhat accredited somewhere.
Come on, what's this degree in, Kwang? Come on,
Medical
give us.
sciences.
That's all right then. So you totally should be here. And you but yeah, it's all fine. That's good. You do matter. That's what I'm trying to say. It's
thank you,
world
Steve. Good to think someone
national.
thinks
It's World National Biomedical Medical Sciences Week Day. So you matter. Just for today, just for this evening. Great. That's our first team, Team Kwang. They're brilliantly named. Let's go and meet the members of our second team. And we'll start with Claire, all the way out on the Nottinghamshire-Lincolnshire border. One of the worst places the human race has ever set foot. Claire, who are you and what are your biomedical science and comedy credentials?
Hi, I'm Dr. Claire Walker, and I'm an imposter. I am not a biomedical scientist. I'm a senior lecturer in immunology and a registered clinical scientist. And as Steve said, I've been asked to describe my scientific and comedy credentials. And I can wax lyrical pretty much all day about my scientific credentials. The conversation about my comedy credentials is a bit shorter. Long story, less long. I'm here because I really have problems saying no to Kip.
It's a good thing. Claire, I love the fact you said I'm an imposter straight after you'd shoved the word doctor down Kwang and Kip's throats. That was beautifully subtle. I'm more qualified than any of you, but now I'm going to make myself sound less qualified so you feel even worse. Anyway, I'd just like to remind all of our viewers, being a doctor doesn't mean shit because I'm one. Like PhDs are worth nothing because I have one. Look at this mess in his shed. I've got a PhD.
I will not
PhDs
take that.
Let's fly over to meet Claire's teammate who's dedicated their life to achieving a PhD. Ella, time player, can you let us all know who you are? What are your science and comedy credentials?
I'm a PhD student. I'm in my final year, so I don't love to hear that PhDs are meaningless at this point.
Can I just check? I notice you've used the term final year rather than third or fourth to cover how many years it is you've been doing it. Are you in what, the 7th, 8th, 9th?
I'm actually 35 years old and I've been going for some time. But it's fine. It's going well. I do research in the sexiest area of research, diabetes. I think hands down the sexiest area, but my comedy credentials are pretty much non-existent unless you count making TikTok videos for Gen
Tell
Zs.
us more. Where can people see these videos of the TikTok? What do you call it? A handle like the CB radios? Is it a handle? An address?
My handle is this beautiful thing
here.
Oh,
that's clever. You've put your address for the TikTok up on the screen.
Big Science Energy.
You go to Ella Hubber, comma, Big Science Energy, comma, the TikTok, comma, London, comma, UK. You post the letter to that and then you get it. Is that how the TikTok works?
Yes, yeah.
And you write TikTok on the back.
I collect all of the mail and then I go personally around their house and show them the videos on my phone.
Sweet. I like it. I knew that's why I'm not on it. People say to me, Steve, why aren't you on the TikTok? Are you too old to understand it? It's no, I just haven't got time to go to everybody's houses. That's what I'm going to tell them. Brilliant. And what's your team name, Ella and Claire? Clella. Guns and poses. I like it. Good. Right. Let's crack on with the business, shall we, friends? The business. Jones, have you got them numbers at the ready? Good. Okay. Because, we had a stand-in maths person for the last one, and I started, and they stopped me mid-question and went, I haven't got a pen.
Unbelievable.
What's the point of you then? Literally. Right, let's move on to our very first question. And we're going to get everybody to... I'm going to go in the same order that we met everybody-ish. So Kip's going to answer this first, then Claire, then Kwang, then Ella. So let's find out our first question. Question 1, Kip Heath. What would your perfect dream day at work be like?
So obviously, every day at work is a dream day at work. Except wait, my boss is currently stuck in a cottage in Cornwall and is not Jones the Maths. And so she's not here, so I can say whatever I want.
Can we talk about how posh your boss is, that they've got a cottage and not a proper caravan like Jones? Just a point for Jones for keeping it real there. Sorry, Kip, to interrupt.
So normally I have a fairly low expectation of what's a good day. For me, any day that doesn't involve an argument with my husband about whether or not I should go to A&E because that bone might be broken. I lost that argument, is a good day. But then I had a stronger think about it and thought, well, I'm a healthcare scientist, and what we do is we treat patients who are sick and we make them better. So in this perfect utopia, we shouldn't really have sick people and everyone would be wonderfully healthy. And that way I could sit at work and get drunk. So that's my perfect.
So your perfect dream day at work is just to sit and drink. There's a pub near your work. There's a pub near every hospital. It's almost as if they know the people that set pubs up, isn't it? Amazing. Good. Right. Let's. Jonathan Clapman Green appears to be a zombie. Is that presumably the zombie outbreak is happening in Cornwall? We've had enough of these zombie outbreaks that happen in like London and Vegas and New York. Let's have one just out in Cornwall. Brilliant. Right. Well, let's go and find out what somebody else's dream day is like. Let's fly over to Claire Walker, whose dream day presumably would involve not living in Newark. What's your dream day at work like, Claire?
Oh, so my dream day at work starts with a lion. You know, a good five.
Can I just double check, because your accent's not completely clear? A lie-in or a lion?
Both, either, preferably the lion. So it starts lion, 5:30 a.m. Relaxing commute with a hot cup of tea. I'm not going to be taking any shit from my colleagues. No one crying at me till I get my tips out. Now would be a good time to mention that I'm on maternity leave. I started my new job during the pandemic. So my dream job would involve actually getting to go in and see what my office looks like and meet my colleagues and my students for the first time and never, ever use Zoom again, apart from here. Here is mine.
And here's a point, just for your students. Just for how bad it must have been to have a year of just not being taught. Because every time they turn up to a lecture, there's just you breastfeeding on Zoom for an hour. And then, I mean, it doesn't feel like an education. So friends, if in future years you've got an immunological problem and it doesn't get solved and you die, it's because the student didn't get taught properly because Claire was busy. Let's go. Now, somebody's got a very loud car outside. So I'm going to start muting microphones. Hey, there we go. Right. I'll come back. We'll unmute you when it's you, Ella. Let's go to Kwang. Now, Kwang, you haven't told everyone your surname, so they're having problems looking you up on Google.
Oh, right. It's Tran. It's without a G, so it doesn't rhyme.
Yeah.
So, you want me to do the
I'd like to know what your dream day at work is like.
Thank God you asked. Yeah. So, my dream day at work. So, just so you know, for context, my job involves traveling, moving lots of heavy like hospital equipment around, and those things threw me off. What else do I do in my job? Fuck me. Right, presenting. I do presenting as well. So.
Oh, I thought you were a hospital porter.
Huh? Yeah.
Well, you just said that's what you do. You just move heavy hospital equipment around.
So,
come on, Kwang, answer the question.
I'm getting there. Right. My dream day at work. Okay, it starts off at the brink of dawn at 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. I roll out of bed and roll 2 meters out my door, and I'll be there at work. I have a van of heavy equipment to move, so that will be driven by a driverless van. Driverless cars will be a thing, and that'll be parked up right outside the sports hall. Next to that, the school will have a team of 10 Olympic gold weightlifters on standby to move my stuff. And next to the van, there's going to be a travelator that takes all the equipment up to the room. And the best thing about, and ideally, those Olympic weightlifters, ex-hospital workers. So they can set up my workshop for me. I'll just turn up. I'll turn up, do my thing, be the star of the show, and then I'll leave at 1:30 p.m.
Great answer. Great answer. And I'd just like to draw everyone's attention to this. Just a beautiful turn of phrase. Up there with the person who I was teaching presentation skills last week, and somebody got confused in the middle of the talk and used the phrase, and the patient put it in their human oral mouth. Let's fly over to Ella. Ella, tell me, let's get the exact question wording. What would your perfect dream day at work be like?
Okay. First of all, sorry that someone has decided to mow the lawn at 8 p.m.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Wild. To me, that's a daytime activity, but fine. Okay. So
can we just have a quick point there for Ella's neighbour for just good lawn keeping?
No. Okay. My realistic dream day at work as a PhD student would be a day where all of my experiments work and I don't cry, realistically. But I realize how sad that sounds. So I think I'd prefer to take it in like a science fiction direction. So I get into work, I start looking down a microscope at something cool. It doesn't matter. DNA replicating. You can't see that. It doesn't matter. I get a call from Boris Johnson. Okay. That's not ideal, but he's the prime minister. He needs my help with a world-ending diabetes-related crisis. Okay. Let's go with like spontaneous diabetes erupting amongst the population. Like everyone. Why did they come to me and not, a senior diabetes researcher like my supervisor? Well, they all have diabetes now, so they can't help. So then there's like a montage of me. I don't want to actually experience doing any of the work. So there's a montage of me pipetting colored liquids and looking at graphs without labels on, until I just proclaim, "My God, I've got it!" And then I rush, and I do a cure or something, and I rush it off to Johnson before 5 p.m. And then to top the day off, the paper I've submitted to Nature has come back with reviewers' comments. They love it. They don't want a single thing done.
Amazing. Amazing. And just an extra point for not mentioning the other thing which would make every PhD student's day perfect, which is to go through a whole day with no PhD students in your department being sexually harassed by any of the permanent staff. So we've got people saying the dings, right? You're still supposed to hear the dings. If you can't hear them, Jones can't hear them, and then she doesn't know the score. So I've turned them down to half volume so they're not as loud for people, but you still have to hear them because that's how Jones does the scores. Got some new viewers here today. It's lovely to have you with us. I've got a number of other sound effects I can treat you with. Or Kwang's next one-liner. Very pleased with that one. Wait, no. And for Kwang's one-liner after that. So there we go. That's all the ones I've got. No, wait.
That's brilliant. It's in the movie done.
That's all the sound effects. I've turned them down. Don't worry. Don't worry, friends on the YouTube comments. I'm not going to start giving points with shotgun blasts. Right, I think I've filled enough time for Jones to add up all the numbers. Thanks for giving me reasons to join up all the numbers there. And let's fly over to Wales and then get the ferry over to Cornwall, because she's not in Wales, to find out from Jones. Jones, how's them numbers looking, Jones Air?
Well, Steve, as usual, we've got that bunch of lazy bastards in last place. Everybody else in the world.
Everybody else in the world, yeah.
They're on 0 as usual. Then in third place, we've got a joint third between me, Claire's students, and Ella's neighbour, who are all on 1 point.
All on 1 point. Pretty good.
But in second place, we've got Kwang with a K on 16.
16, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But just sneaking in, just slightly ahead, we got Guns and Poses, who are on Index Scythe.
Index Scythe. New viewers, one thing you might not know is Sarah only knows odd numbers in Welsh, and she only knows even numbers in English. Welsh, of course, or Cornish, as we're calling it.
Cornish, yeah. I'm assuming Cornish and Welsh are the same.
Is there such a thing as a Welsh pasty?
You can certainly get pasties in Wales. So, yeah.
Right, there we go.
There'd be a dragon on it for sure.
Yeah, and the only real difference is mining coal instead of mining tin, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, perfect. Right. Let's move on to round 2. So round 2 is called Great Lists of Biomedical Science. And in this round, I'm going to give our teams the title of a PowerPoint slide, and they're going to tell me bullets that would be on that PowerPoint slide in the very serious presentation they were doing, reporting on their year's activity in the world of biomedical science, or in Claire's case, biomedical science, but claiming it's something different, just endlessly splitting.
Something better.
Your first topic is this, friends. That's not supposed to be in the plastic tube.
Do I ping in?
Just a point for Ella for running away at the question. What answers do other people have? What? That's not supposed to be in the plastic tube.
Is it the miniaturized school bus from the 1994 children's science adventure, The Magic School Bus?
This actual bumblebee that I have been preserving in this tube for 3 years.
Is it still alive?
No.
I don't know how animals work. What are you keeping it for?
Just to look at.
Okay. It's not going to be some kind of like religious icon after the apocalypse where everybody will get together and worship the one remaining bee. I mean, it's dead, but it still exists. Right, what else, friends? What else is not supposed to be in the plastic tube?
Is it a man allergic to plastic?
It's so very small. I might need a microscope to see it, but yes, it does look like the NHS England pay rise deal.
Damn it.
2 points for that one.
My pure undiluted tears collected after a failed experiment.
Is it my dignity?
How big's the plastic tube, Quang? I've got some half-mil Eppendorfs somewhere.
EU roaming charges.
You go first, Kurt.
EU roaming charges.
Is it a tiny person? They're far too small to be the MIDI biologist. Could it be the microbiologist we've all been talking about?
Shouldn't invite you to these things.
My life savings of £20.
Is it a series of increasingly smaller plastic tubes like a Russian nesting doll?
Lovely.
That's the perfect present for the scientist in your life, just a collection of tubes from your lab.
I'm so excited by the concept of that. Every time I find a smaller version of a tube or flask, I love it.
And a smaller bee to put in it.
Oh.
That's just a point for Ella and Claire's teamwork and growing yes and improvisational skills. Have we all finished with the plastic tube?
We have.
We're gonna have a tiny diversion for a second, which is Ella. Can you bring one of your earrings much nearer to the camera because they're getting some love in the comments? So I want people to be able to have a good look at them.
Here we go. They're little bins. They're sharp bins if you wish.
Little sharp spins. That's just a point for that. Incredible. Right, let's move on to our second PowerPoint slide, which is emails you hate to get at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Your P45.
My supervisor asking me to do just one quick thing.
Dear Dr. Walker, I am a wealthy Nigerian prince. I have followed your career with interest. I'd like to fund your next study.
Nigeria's actually got a growing economy. You wouldn't believe the amount of money there is there.
Mandatory fun Zoom quiz in 30 minutes.
An
I'm
email,
usually getting paid to host that Zoom quiz. Go to the Zoom quiz.
an email from anyone wanting to touch my base.
First, second, third, or fourth base? Fourth base is home plate. Sorry. Keep them coming. What else? Emails you hate to get at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
You do realize it's Thursday, right?
Dear Dr. Walker, HR team here, wanting to invite you to join our training session to address the unprecedented rise in base touching.
Can you stay behind for a bit? I need to fill my weekly douchebag quota for the week.
Boris Johnson asking for my help with a world-ending diabetes crisis.
Any email with the CC list longer than the Treaty of Versailles marked as urgent, to be actioned. What are we actioning? Who is actioning?
Please could everyone stay behind after work today? I've locked us all in.
Amazing. Let's move on to our third PowerPoint slide, friends. Now, viewers who've been here before will know that sometimes I write these questions in a slightly odd mood after a number of whiskies. Let's not forget such great questions as, how do I get this wasp out of here? And where are my keys? And today's third PowerPoint slide is, where did I put the Sharpie I was going to use to label this?
In a plastic tube.
Very good. Wait, okay. Pen Island, which is funnier when you write it down.
I don't know.
1 point for the joke and 1 point for explaining it.
I don't know, but it's probably still redacting the Conservatives' PPE contracts.
You were vandalising a sign that says Boris Johnson is a countryman.
Now, defacing pictures of Boris Johnson so he looks more like the Monopoly man.
Writing COVID-19 stats on the side of a bus.
I've put it wherever I put all my fucking socks.
In my Sharpie bandolier, I will be the Mad Max of the post-pandemic laboratory world.
Or just any lab. This is the number one thing I remember from doing lab work, is that Sharpies are very important and I can never find the fucking thing. I've got 16 tubes to label. I've done 3. I haven't moved. The pen's gone.
That actually gives me the opportunity to say, I know you took my pen, Dan. Give it back. Fuck you.
What's Dan's surname?
Egg Basset.
Right.
And for me to say that they're all hoarded with the rest of my lab stash, you know, pipette tips, bin liners, and gloves.
Well, the other thing to say is, if you work in the lab I did my PhD in, the answer to where all the pens are is, I nicked them. And I left.
Your dad.
I was like, these are really good. I'm having a few of them. Also, 50ml syringes are really useful in real life in ways that you never anticipate. So, friends, one last go. Where did I put the Sharpie to label this?
You were signing a hush agreement from Prince Andrew saying that you saw him sweat.
Writing
Good. Quang just pulled out of doing anything that would have mean I have to delete this there. What else have we got?
It's been taken by my sleep paralysis demon.
It's writing
Poor Dan.
passive-aggressive notes for the lab break room.
You were signing a parcel.
Please clean
labelled
more. Go on,
Don't
Quang.
drink from the tap directly.
You were signing a
even.
parcel labelled as. You were signing a parcel labelled as compliments for your comedy. There was nothing in it.
Drawing a mustache on the health secretary so he looks less like a prepubescent 12-year-old boy.
I feel like you already did that joke the other way around.
I did.
Gav
I liked it so much. I
No,
repeated
Matt
it.
Hancock.
Give me my
Matt
pen
Hancock.
back, Dan.
That's the point there. Right, let's move on. Maybe after this, let's all club together. We'll set up a GoFundMe just to buy Ella a Sharpie. I think they're £1.49 in Ryman. Do you want one of the ones that has fine on one end and ultra fine on the other end?
Please. I mean, I don't know that kind of luxury.
I bought some of them, like Game Changer. Game Changer. I thought the press button Sharpie was the Game Changer, but it's not, because it hasn't got as much Sharpie juice in. But the fine one end, ultra fine the other end.
I've honestly never even heard of the press button Sharpie. That's how bougie you've gotten.
Which university are you doing your PhD at? It doesn't have proper equipment. You
King's
should get
College
Wellcome
London.
funding. I bet Wellcome funded people have them. They were good. I think that's me filled enough time so that I can go to Jones the Maths. Thanks everybody for playing along as I blatantly fill while Jones puts numbers together. Jones, all them numbers. Have you had any thoughts on them numbers?
Yeah, well, for the last and third place, the numbers remain unchanged. But something interesting has happened between second and first place. Quang's team still in second place because they are currently on 32.
Oh, good number. Good basketball number. Magic Johnson's number.
But Guns and Poses storming ahead with their improv skills there. And they are currently on Pedwedig Pimp.
45, the number Michael Jordan wore when he came back and was rubbish for a season before he got good again. Great number. Great number. Well played, everybody.
I'd like to point out that I wrote those numbers with a pen I stole for a company I did some work for.
Was it biomedical science work?
It wasn't. It was writing articles about soil.
I was going to ask if you desirably need a science degree for that one.
Now, friends, I think we should dig in now to the issues that really, really, really matter. And we're going to go with, God, I hope you've emailed each other about round 4, he says, looking at round 4. Did you all talk through round 4? Yeah?
No.
Yeah? Good. No, fine, whatever.
We did a
right,
whole comedy session.
Round 3, and we're going to go to Ella first on this one, because Ella had to go last on the first one. And this is Ella. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What's the most useless kind of medical doctor and why?
Okay, I know that you're really asking for maybe a type of doctor here.
I am, yeah. I don't want a name.
Well, that's too bad, because I'm going really specific, and I'm saying my housemate Jack. Okay, he's a junior doctor. He's 26 years old. I'm actually going to use a prop for this. Here he is watching RuneScape videos on his phone and eating an entire caterpillar cake to himself. Okay, he's a doctor. He uses the word egg as a punchline to every joke he's ever told. He dips entire bananas into yogurts as a snack. I once watched him put his entire mouth around my cat's head. Maybe he is a good doctor, but with everything I've just told you, would you want this toddler man to stick his fingers inside of you? Because he will, and he will enjoy it. That's Jones is making the face that I want to inspire.
Proving the point that I've always made, that medical doctor is just medical student plus time. And we all remember medical students, don't we, friends? The worst people in the universe. Right. Let's some good feedback coming in for Jack here.
I do want to say that Gabby is Jack's fiance. So
poor Gabby. I mean, maybe he'll make lots of money. Is he a kind of money? Is he a plastic surgeon or what other doctor makes lots of money?
In the UK? No,
I don't know. Just be private on the side, don't you? Like psychiatrists, they make a lot because they do their NHS work, and then after that, they just take advantage of how depressed everybody is in COVID. One of our friends who does the brain stuff was telling us she's raised her prices by 50% because of COVID, and people are still paying because they're so I just think it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Mental health services just making all this money off people's sadness. It's just not right. In fact, all medicine, just coining it off people being ill. I think all doctors and nurses should work for free because otherwise they're just profiteering off our
disaster
illnesses.
capitalists.
and biomedical scientists, they should work for free as well, much like you all are.
Yeah.
Let's fly over to Kwang. Kwang, tell me, you trick children into not becoming doctors for a living, but what's the most useless kind of medical doctor and why?
The most useless kind is a hematologist with hemophobia. And if you don't know what that means, it's a blood doctor who's scared of blood. He would be useless, right? The nurse would be like taking blood in the room, and he'll come in like, "Oh my god, what the hell is that? Fucking hell, I don't want to see it." And so I can't deal with it. I didn't sign up to be a hematologist. I want to be a hypnotist, but spell check fucked me over. So here I am.
Sarah, can I also just give a point to Ella for committing to that question way more than Kwang did?
Welcome.
Kwang.
Let's fly over to the only person here who announced at the beginning that they were a doctor, but not a medical doctor, presumably, because medical doctors wouldn't lower themselves to do this sort of thing. Medical doctors only do actual stand-up and all email me every week saying, "Have you got any shows for me yet? I'm a medical doctor who also does stand-up." And to which my reply is always, "Oh, well, I'm sure I'll have something in the pipeline." I never will, medical doctors who also do stand-up. Let's fly over to, like, are you going to give me some free chances to come in and have medical treatment? No. Like, I just think quid pro quo. Sort out whatever's wrong with me, and then I'll get you a slot in a pub in front of 20 people. Let's fly over to Claire Walker, to Soft Lighting's Claire Walker, and find out, Claire, what's the most useless kind of medical doctor and why?
So there's one kind of doctor that really gets on my wick, and they can be any specialism, but I like to call them the optimists. They tend to call the lab during the busiest time of day and start the conversation with something like, "Of course you've read the recent Lancet paper on hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis, where they look at around 29 different cytokines in treatment of the nude mouse. Yes, of course you have. Wonderful. I've collected 43 samples, have arranged for them to be sent for analysis as soon as possible. Absolutely urgent. Oh, that test isn't routinely available. Oh, not anywhere. Surely you could just chuck it on one of the machines for me." I will explain this to you for the last time for all you medical doctors to hear. There is a lab manual with a full list of the tests to be offered. And for the last time, no, we can't just chuck it on a machine. Buddy, I am the machine.
It's a great answer. I had to get the rage light out there because I was so angry with the mistreatment that Claire has to put up with at work. Fantastic answer. But now we're going to go to the person who has to suffer more doctors than anyone, I think, in the whole world, in that their boss hides in a toilet all day so that Kip has to face the doctors. Kip Heath, tell me, what is the most useless kind of medical doctor and why?
So this was a difficult one because there's a lot of competition for most useless doctor. But I started by asking my husband with his non-biased biomedical science view. And his view was that it was a gynecologist because there wasn't much use. And so now I'm getting divorced. So I'm going to go back to young doctors because let's not pick on one specialty. And one step up from the medical students who wear their stethoscope to the pub so you know just how incompetent they are is the first year placements. And that wonderful week in March and September where they've just been let loose. And I appreciate that you have to learn, and we all had to learn. And I was 18 and didn't know which end of a pipette was as well. Hi, Jack. But I don't really understand why they failed to lose all sense of knowledge of anything else at the same time. I don't understand why this means they can't work a pager, although these days they're all 19, so probably that's why they can't work a pager. And why I have phone calls about tests that don't exist, because Claire nicked my thing before I got there.
It's how we work together.
Oh, yeah, there's stories about that one. Or my particular favorite one of trying to explain to someone how to order an immunology test on an immunology form, which was the entirely identical process to ordering from a biochemistry form, but finding the form that said immunology at the top. So yeah, one day they'll be useful, but to start with, they really should not be let near patients. Or me. Mostly me.
Regular viewers will know this story. Here's the scar in my head from last September, which I did. I dropped something on my head, and there was a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood. And I went into hospital, and I got sewn up by a nurse. And the nurse had been doing this for a million years. She was one of those great nurses who was like, basically, the whole hospital is pointless. Just me and a pair of scissors could do most of it. And she sewed me up, and she did this beautiful job. As you can see, it's really fake. This is like this was a 7 centimeter long, deep, down to the skull. She did a beautiful job, and she said, you're so lucky that you're here in urgent care and you didn't get taken to A&E, because the new doctors are on in A&E, and your head would look like the remains of a zombie film for the rest of your life. They're just running up going, how does a needle work? So instead I've got this absolutely beautiful, like sewing machines don't do work like this. It's phenomenal stuff. Wonderful. Right. Sorry. I just like telling the story about how I got the big, because I like to wear my hair quite short on the sides. And often people think that I'm a knife fighter, because I've got this kind of knife fighter thing going on where they think I spend a lot of time in pub car parks with other lads, but it wasn't. It was just a piece of audio equipment fell on my head. It was a combined microphone preamp compressor with an EL 1634 valve in it. Fell on my head. That's covered enough time for Jones to do the numbers. Jones, how's them? I did ask everybody, didn't I? Because you're all giving me a look like I've fucked up. I assume you're just looking like that because Jack appeared in the chat.
It's just no one believes you were a knife fighter.
No, well, I thought it was just because Jack appeared in the chat.
Infamous.
What's them numbers?
Right. Okay. So in second place, we've still got Kwang with a K, who are currently on 46.
So close to the pimp.
But absolutely storming ahead. The gap is widening because Guns and Poses are on Chwedig Pimp.
Love a pimp number. Love a pimp number. Sorry, I'm just dealing with questions about my Jack's regretting appearing in the chat, or indeed at work, or indeed at home. Poor Jack. No, not poor Jack. He's a medical doctor, which means he was once a medical student, which means he probably went to private school. Statistically speaking. Let's move on to our final question. It's good. So just after I said that, we lost a viewer, which I assume is Jack's mom. Just offended that I said that to him. Let's move on to our bonus round. Now, bonus round. This is the first time ever we've had a bonus round where members of a team have to work together. And I'm hoping that they have. Good. Team, we're going to go to Kip and Kwang's team first. Here's the bonus round. The bonus round today is Heist. Each team needs a plan to steal 10 liters of human blood without killing anyone. Choose a target, make a plan, give yourselves roles, talk me through it. Kwang and Kip, how are you going to get me the 10 liters of human blood that I need? Go.
So my plan was a simple one, and it was to break into a blood bank and nick it. But see, Kwang is firstly adorable and secondly much of a less of a sociopath than I am. And he wanted a method that was slightly less dangerous to people. So we went for a humane method.
I wouldn't go far to say humane, but yeah, sure. We're gonna use blood sucking animals. So we did the maths. We did the maths. Worked out that to get 10 liters of blood, we needed 437,000 mosquitoes. Then
are you doing the maths in your head now?
Well, no, that's just me forgetting how much it is and just stalling time. 528 blood leeches and 1 Michael Gove. So we opted to go for the leeches, and we're going to use them and do what Kip is going to say about them now.
So there was nothing in the brief about the quality of the blood that we needed to extract. So we decided to find somewhere where you wouldn't need leeches, or where leeches may not be too out of place. So we were going to go to a Wetherspoons, and probably a Wetherspoons in central London. And we were going to let them loose on a Saturday night and just enjoy the locals. And then we would crawl around and pick them up, take them into the back of the Wetherspoons and stick them in a blender, then put them back in their box and take them into the lab. And then we would centrifuge it to get rid of all of the leech debris and hopefully segregate leech blood from human blood and have 10 glorious liters of human blood.
Just a quick question for both Quang and Kip. So let's say you're undergoing a major medical procedure and things start to go wrong. You're losing a lot of blood. If in the room someone said, can you get us 10 liters of blood that's been previously eaten by leeches, then been blended with leeches and then been centrifuged off of leeches? If there was somebody knocking at the door with that, would you be lying there thinking, this is fine?
Quite fond of my centrifuge technique.
Are you not worried you're only going to get plasma?
Density, Steve. It would sink to the bottom.
How do leech cells and blood cells have different densities?
One's blood,
Leeches
one's
are a lot
leeches.
smaller.
They're different.
Are we not going to get a mixture of leech plasma and human plasma and inject that into you?
It's an experiment.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't specify
underestimating-
what I wanted the blood for. I realize. Imagine you're a vampire and you desire only the purest human blood. Do you want blood that's been previously sucked up by leeches that have then been blended, that have then been... Well, so
They
we've got one
started
weird
at
thing.
Wetherspoons. They're not going to get pure blood
Exactly.
from there.
Like, the blood, it started dirty before it even... The weird thing is, the famous astronomer Patrick Moore is contacting us from beyond the grave because he is dead. The famous alcoholic xylophonist Patrick Moore is contacting us from beyond the grave. Have you not heard leech blood is better for you, ... The ... there is used to symbolize something that's missing. And the thing that's missing here is the phrase, it isn't. I was joking. That was a great plan. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'm going to let you put the blood in me. I'm afraid. I'm going to be like, no, it's fine. Just give me saline and I'll make the rest myself over the next few days. I'm not sure. Now, I'm going to go to the other team, Claire and Ella, who I'm really hoping theirs isn't, we were just going to liquidize mosquitoes and leeches in a Wetherspoons as well.
God, we better come up with something else quickly, Claire.
We're going to do this off the cuff.
Okay.
What, was it really leeches in Wetherspoons? No. Right, let's go over to Claire and Ella Big Science Energy off of the TikTok to find out how are you going to get me 10 liters of human blood without killing anybody? It does. I mean, literally, it's 8:50 at night. Science
Did it say
has
we
stopped.
don't have to kill anyone?
You can't kill anyone. You can't kill humans. Otherwise, getting 10 liters of blood is dead easy. You just kill Quang and Kip.
Wasn't that bad?
Right, come on. How are you going to get me my blood, friends?
So we discussed it. We really thought that the best way was to go with people we know because, academics and healthcare scientists are already used to giving their blood, sweat and tears for their jobs.
And there was that project where I gave all that urine.
Okay, sure. But as I was saying, our workforce, they're very obliging. So what we think...
And there was that job where we got the lab staff to donate all the sperm.
Okay. The less we hear about that one, the better, Claire, to be honest. So as our wonderful scientists are so obliging in donating all of their body fluids, apparently, we thought we'd just recruit them to our fake study to investigate stress biomarkers in an undervalued workforce. So the only problem here is working out what we're going to do with all the sweat and tears and urine and semen afterwards too. I mean, I haven't done the maths on this, but I did ask my other housemate who's engaged to Jack if she would give me a pint of her blood if I didn't tell her why I needed it. And she said yes. So as long as I can get 20 people as easy as her, we have enough.
Done.
That's incredible. I think that's a really sensible way to go about it. Just take advantage of the weak-minded and weak-willed. There's an extra point for realizing where the real problems are in society that we can take advantage of. Yeah, I just don't think it would be that difficult. You can get these little concealed lancet things. I swear you could sneak up behind people in the street and get a few mils off each of them so they don't even know. They just hear a click noise and then they're like, oh, my COVID thing hurts. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You just bribe a set of COVID vaccinators that after they squeeze it in, they then pull out 10 mils, 1,000 of those squirted in a bucket, and you're done. See, it's easy, friends, when you think about it. I thought those are some lovely heists. We might have some more heists in future games, I think. I want to congratulate Ella and Claire for having an actual routine, Abbott and Costello style, where I was like, how much blood is on first? I'm quite pleased with that one. How much blood is on first? There's like one person got that out there. For the one person who got that, why not listen to my new podcast that comes out next week called Steve Cross, The Podden Prometheus, which is a joke that only one person has got. So the trailer is literally the one person who got the joke explaining it to everybody else. Let's fly over to Sarah. No joke, genuinely is. I got a PhD student in English literature to explain the joke, and then that's the trailer, is her explaining the joke. Right, let's go. So then you listen to the trailer, then I delete it, then you tell your friends about the show and they don't get the joke, and you tell them, and then you seem really clever. It's basically a whole show about feeling cleverer than everybody around you. Jones the Maths, you're on an upcoming episode, 3/4 of it, because then the recording cut out and there'll be a lot of me and someone else saying, what do you think, Sarah?
Absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
It was
Jones,
a real lesson in second recording yourself.
Yeah, how's them numbers?
Well, Steve, absolutely everybody else in the world is still really trailing behind on 0. I think one of these days they are going to have to pull themselves together. But in third place, of course, we've still got joint me for keeping it real, Claire's students for not being taught for a year, and Ella's neighbour just for mowing the lawn.
Let's do a quick point, a quick ding there for Dr. Jack for being a good sport.
Oh,
for
joined
appearing,
us in third place.
just joining in third place. Just lift him out of the morass of the rest of the human race, and just put him there because, like, he's been a very good sport about everything. You know, saying things like, "Unfortunately, still here." I mean, it's weird when you see someone's YouTube picture and it's just them trying to prove that they've got 2 friends. Weirdly. I mean, I'm assuming Jack is the one in the middle who looks like somebody's created an average of the one on the left and the one on the right. But it's nice that he's got 2 friends, and now he's got a point to go with his 2 friends who might be his parents. That's how genetics works, isn't it? So how's them numbers, Jones?
So Team Quang with a K, they're still behind, unfortunately. They have managed to close the gap somewhat because they are on Digging.
Amazing, 61. That's very good. Quang Kip, make sure to tell our friend Jane that your team name was We Are Quang, because that will make her laugh. That's just a joke for one person who's not even here. Let's now find out, how did Team Clarella? It sounds like a bacteria. I'm going with it. How did Team Clarella do?
Clarella, aka Guns and Poses, absolutely stormed it today. They came in at first place with Scythe Dig Tree. 73, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
We've got some more people asking for points. Stevie Taylor, where are your points? I think you answered your own question, didn't you, earlier? Wait. Where is it? You definitely answered your own question. Wait, this was supposed to be really quick and funny and really work well. No, it's gone. It was a thing where Stevie said it's up my arse. There we go. Look, here's where your points are.
Wow.
Timing is the secret of comedy. That's it. That's the only people asking for points. Jack says it's nice to be just off the bottom of the barrel, but Jack hasn't answered the question of whether he is a genetic experiment made up of the 2 people either side of him combined, which is what I really want to know. He's tuned in on Biomedical Science Day because he's like, I am Biomedical Science, the world's only living doctor who is a clone. Well, that was very exciting. Thank you all for playing. Now, it now turns, for a moment, we turn to all our teams and see what they've got to advertise. So let's start with TikTok at big_science_energy. What have you got to advertise to our lovely viewers?
That's you've done it. You've done it. That's my tick.
Good.
This side, my TikTok. I sometimes make videos. Sometimes they're funny. Mostly they're not. And please follow me if you are. I assume
12.
Gen Z. Because what do any of you others have TikTok?
I got it so I could watch Kit's TikTok. The one, gosh, but I only follow her.
But also, we pay someone to make our TikTok videos.
But I'm being very supportive.
Well,
but not much, because Gen Z will work for nothing.
Yeah, she's a millennial.
Yeah, okay, fine. Good. Excellent advertising. Now, let's go over to Quang. Quang, have you got anything to advertise other than biomedical science careers?
Yeah.
No, I've got nothing. Over
If
to
you know a
Kit.
young person, why not trick them into a biomedical science career? But make sure Quang gets 5%. Claire, have you got anything to advertise?
As always, I am advertising the University of Lincoln, particularly
University of
biomedical
Lincoln.
science degrees. Come, learn science with me. I'll be here this year.
Let's run through the official advertising slogan. Didn't get in anywhere else. The University of Lincoln.
Absolutely not true.
Kip Heath, what are you advertising? Have you got any made-up universities you want to? University of Bingle,
No.
Bongle, Bangle.
No, I was going to thank whoever paid for this, but I'm actually not sure. It might be Bill Gates. It might be Health Education England. It might be SFAM, but I don't think it was. So.
Sarah Jones, what have you got to advertise?
Well, I was going to advertise some of the many podcasts I'm currently on, but my partner's just turned up with the Chinese. So today I'm very much sponsored by getting a takeaway instead of cooking.
Okay, so it's food. Because you really you have to put a noun after. You can't just say an adjective and leave it. He's turned up with a Chinese takeaway. That is a sentence. It could have been anything. And then I was like, Jones is racist as shit. But no, it's food. It's fine. Marvelous. Right. Good. Hello, I'm Steve. If you want to hear more of me, why not listen to my podcast, Steve Cross : The Podden Prometheus, in which Zoe McGee explains the joke. There will be proper episodes featuring people like all of the people on this screen, all of whom I will talk into doing episodes at various points. And the good news is that no episode has the same format as any other episode. So if you, like me, have attention deficit disorder and just a hatred of anything you've ever done before, then why not listen to my podcast? It's been lovely to work with all of you. Let's say goodbye to all of our lovely players. Goodbye, Quang.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Claire.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, TikTok at big_science_energy.
Bye.
Goodbye, Jones. Goodbye. Goodbye, obtrusive microphone Heath. It's been lovely to work with all of you, and it's been lovely to see you all. And it's been lovely to get these 3 laughs from Stevie Taylor. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.